Pokémon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky is now 15 years old. This is one of, if not my favorite game of all time. As such, I think I should show my love with a ranking video. Today we're going to rank the 5 special episodes within Explorers of Sky. These special episodes give the game a lot of cool world building, allowing us to see how the adventures of familiar faces began, or in one case, how their story ends. So enough introductions, let's get on to the ranking. Oh, and spoilers for the Explorers games, but you probably knew that.
You planted grass? Grass?
Today's oh my gosh is the definition of a filler episode. Smacked right in the middle of the 5 special episodes, there's just this needless story about Sunflora having a spat with Loudred. I guess you learned that of the guild members, Sunflora ranks pretty highly, but unlike the other 2 special episodes involving guild members, I could not care less about the story of Sunflora capturing an outlaw. The idea of a hunter trio pretending to be one invincible hunter is cool, though it starts to feel a bit dumb when you remember reviver seeds exist. On my first playthrough, I actually thought that's where the twist was going. After an entire playthrough of getting used to relying on these things, it would have been pretty cool to see them used against us. But no, it's just 3 hunter pretending to be one dude. Less cool, but still a decent enough gimmick. Anyways, the Loudred thing. They're fighting because Loudred messed up a job they went on together, and he isn't willing to apologize. Wow, what a riveting storyline. Anyways, maybe I should talk about gameplay now. The dungeons here feel par for the course with other special episodes, but it's pretty annoying that the bosses have the type advantage. Only one other episode really has you deal with a type disadvantage. Ironically, you also play as a grass type in that episode, but that grass type is so much cooler, stronger, and just more memorable, leaving today's oh my gosh as the forgettable middle chapter, even when this is the only episode to reward you with an exclusive item, giving you the sun scarf after defeating the hunter trio. It's like the devs knew this episode was gonna be everyone's least favorite, so they just gave this out as a consolation prize. And even then, the prize is a Sunflora specific item. I know that Pokemon and stats work differently in Mystery Dungeon, but be honest, are you really gonna go out of your way to recruit a Sunflora? Anyways, with today's oh my gosh out of the way, we can move on to the rest of the list. And to show just how much I like even number 4 over this episode, if this were a tier list video, today's oh my gosh would have been C tier, bordering D tier. Meanwhile, number 3 and 4 are in A tier, number 2 is in S tier, and number 1 is in the one and only Grandmaster tier. So let's get going.
Like Terminator, but without the tuh.
Bidoof's Wish is the definition of a nice little story. As the first special episode that you unlock fairly early, it's by far the shortest one here. You could probably knock this one out in less than an hour if you wanted. Even so, it tells a sweet and compelling story. We learn how our good buddy Bidoof got his start in Wigglytuff's guild, but also all the issues he had adjusting to being a part of the team. Despite the support from his wonderful family, no matter what Bidoof is told to do, he somehow always messes it up. He brings Loudred a Doom Seed when he asks for a Reviver Seed, and unknowingly eats Wigglytuff's perfect apples, leading to Chatot classic punishment of banning someone from dinner. Oh Chatot, how we love to hate you so. This causes Bidoof to feel disheartened, especially with him never getting to go on actual adventures. This all changes when he meets Snover, however, who gives him a map to Wish Cave, a place where he might be able to meet Jirachi and get a wish granted, and a place he can re-explore in the main game with a challenge letter. And so Bidoof travels to Wish Cave with this Snover, only to be betrayed and almost robbed of the 7k Poke his mom gave him. But then one of the most epic scenes in these special episodes occur. Bro, come on. The entirety of the guild coming in to protect Bidoof when he's in trouble? You even get to see Chata be a bit of a tsundere boss. This is probably the reason I don't outright hate Chata like some others do. Just mostly dislike him. After beating Jirachi, Bidoof finally has the chance to make his wish, to become the world's best explorer. However, right as Jirachi is about to grant the wish, Bidoof stops them, realizing that he doesn't want to just become the best explorer. After the journey he's had and the kind words the guild had said to him, he realized this is something he actually wants to achieve on his own, but he does still make one wish, to have a buddy he could teach stuff to, a friend or two he can help and make happy like the guild did for him. And those friends are the player and their partner, which leads to a bit of a theory you could have about this special episode, one I thought I was the first to think of, but as it turns out people on Reddit had the same idea. Go figures. My original theory states that Bidoof is the true hero of two whole timelines. Think, if Bidoof's wish is what led to us and our partner joining the guild, then what would have happened if Bidoof didn't make that wish? Well, I hypothesize that had it not been for that wish, our partner wouldn't have had the courage to even go up the steps, meaning Team Skull wouldn't have seen their relic fragment. Without this event, even if our partner went to the beach and met us, without that first journey together to retrieve the stolen relic fragment, our partner may not have had the courage to start an exploration team, meaning the player character would go on with their amnesia. So while Grovile's adventure would have mostly continued as normal, with the exception that he would have defeated Mesprit instead of us, he would have ultimately met his fate at the hands of Spiritomb, believing that we would finish the mission to restore time in the past. But of course, without Bidoof's wish and us forming an exploration team, the player character would have just lived out their life as a Pokémon. And so that, gamers, is how Bidoof inadvertently saved not just one, but two entire timelines.
Don't shake the baby.
Bidoof's wish may be a nice little story, but Igglybuff the Prodigy is where a lot of heart can be found. This special episode goes farther back into the past than any other one. We learn the origin story of our great Guildmaster Wigglytuff, all the way back when he was just a cute little Igglybuff. And as the title would suggest, we see how he's a natural at being an explorer, able to figure out how to solve a puzzle that stumped a supposed expert. As such, this explorer named Armaldo takes Igglybuff under his wing, teaching him to hone his natural talent and instill a love of exploration. We see the two grow closer as they develop a student-master relationship. However, things aren't as truly wholesome as we'd want it to be, because Armaldo has a secret past that starts to catch up to him. Just as the two are going to explore a whole new dungeon, the police and Igglybuff's family arrives and reveal that Armaldo is apparently a B-rank outlaw, something that comes as a big surprise to both Igglybuff and the player. However, this doesn't turn into some cliche twist like, uh-oh, Armaldo was always evil and tricked Igglybuff to make him rich. Instead, when the cops come for him, he's fully ready to accept the consequences for his past actions. The adventures he had with Igglybuff truly changed him. Even though he knew he was risking getting caught in their adventures, Igglybuff reminded him of the joy of adventuring, and he loved it. And I just love how Armaldo stopped Igglybuff from lashing out, not wanting him to get in trouble. And so, as he's getting arrested, Armaldo gives Igglybuff the Defend Globe, the treasure they found on their first adventure together, which we see he still has to this day at the start of the episode. This is just a really sweet story, and one that clearly had an effect on the fan base. Unfortunately, the main game doesn't give these two the closure we'd like, but that's where fan games come in, baby. Explorers of the Spirit and Outlaws Paradise give Armaldo great closure. In both cases, we see Armaldo years after Igglybuff the Prodigy, and both do an amazing job at capturing the character of Armaldo. Not only do we see him react to Wigglytuff still remembering him, but learning that the Igglybuff he mentored did become a great explorer. Bro, if we ever do get Explorers DX, can we please get an interaction like this in the main story? Thinking about it, I don't think Armaldo is ever ever mentioned in the main story. The closest we get is this very same special episode, which presumably happened the night after the guild met Yuxi, though he is mentioned in another episode we'll get to soon enough. I guess I just want to see those other Armado stories Wigglytuff alluded to. Regardless, I think this is the second best episode in making you feel things, and is the best episode revolving around a guild member. It's wholesome, it's emotional, and all around shows you how the legend of Guild Master Wigglytuff began. It's Team Charm, baby! Here Comes Team Charm is such a fun episode. You quickly know what you're in for when you see that unique title card, telling you right away that this isn't like the previous 3 episodes. This episode introduces the titular Team Charm, who immediately show they mean business by murdering a Graveler. Poor guy, he probably didn't even deserve it. Afterwards, we're introduced to the story of the episode, a time before these Charmers were known as legendary treasure hunters. I really like the characterization Team Charm is given. You have Metacham as the comic relief muscle of the group, Gardevoir as the elegant brains of the operation, and of course, last but certainly not least, their leader Lopunny, one of my favorite characters in this game. I've said prior that Team Charm's Lopunny is how Lopunny should be seen. Sure, Lopunny is seemingly obsessed with finding beautiful treasure, but she's more than willing to help people in need if they ask, and she's okay with not taking treasure that's important to the area it's in, like say, a time gear. It's also pretty amazing how you see Team Charm meet Wigglytuff here. We even learn that by this point Wigglytuff has become a known explorer. We even get the only other mention of Armado I can remember. Anyways, another aspect of the story I like is what they did with Ditto. At the start of the episode you meet a Blossom who looks kind of off. They tell Team Charm to just give up on finding the treasure here, but Team Charm has never failed at finding a treasure before, and they don't plan on ever ruining that streak. Later, after a run-in with Team AWD, who are woefully unprepared for just how strong the trio are, Team Charm meets a Sentret. Again, a little off-looking, but I guess that's how Sentret looks like. This poor little guy asks Team Charm to punish Team AWD, as they hurt Sentret's team so much they don't want to adventure anymore, and Team Charm will not stand for this. Not only will they beat Team AWD to the treasure, but they promise to serve justice in the name of Sentret's friends. Team Charm finds the treasure chest and it's empty, initiating a battle against Team AWD, who think they stole the treasure, but in the end it's Wigglytuff who single-handedly breaks up the fight. He informs them that both teams have been duped by none other than the treasure chest itself, who turns out to be a Ditto. This Ditto reveals that they were the Blossom and Sentret the team met, and had been using their transform ability to protect the real treasure, the friends we made along the way. It's a time gear. Of course it's a time gear. Team AWD then decide to take their leave, telling Team Charm that there's some treasure you just can't take. Even so, Team Charm's 100% success rate is still up, because the real treasure was the journey we made along the way. Nice way to cope there, Team Charm. In the end, this episode also brings up when the specials should be played. Do you play them as you unlock them, or after you've beaten the game? Personally, on my first playthrough, I did it the latter way, which was cool since I learned that Wigglytuff knew Team Charm first, and then learned how afterward. But either way is valid for a first time playthrough. But now, we've reached the #1 special episode. In my opinion, the best special episode of Explorers of Sky is... In the Future of Darkness is objectively the best special episode. I was really tempted to be a contrarian and rank Team Charm as first, but nah, as short as it is, In the Future of Darkness is one of the best stories in Pokémon. While Here Comes Team Charm starts with the most energetic title card, In the Future of Darkness has no music, no sound effects, already telling you that this story will take itself more seriously than the rest. we catch up with our good friend Grovyle, picking up right after he took Dusknoir back to the future with him, making this the only episode to show us the after instead of the before. Of course, upon waking up, Grovyle immediately comes up with a plan. Face Primal Dialga to prevent them from sending another agent to the past, all to buy the player and their partner more time to prevent the dark future. Before he sets off, however, Dusknoir asks why he's so committed to steer history away from this future. After all, if history is changed, they'll all disappear. To answer, Grovyle alludes to a lesson we'll learn in this episode. If his sacrifice can make for a better future, then it's a sacrifice worth making. And so he sets off. And after a sudden betrayal from his Sableye, and later learning about a bigger betrayal from Primal Dialga, Dusknoir decides to team up with Grovyle, believing that they'll have greater chances of survival together. The two grow closer during the adventure. Dusknoir eventually even protects Grovyle from a falling block of ice, taking the hit for him instead. As the two rest in a safe spot, Dusknoir has a chance to truly ask Grovyle the burning question he has. No, it's not if he's single. It's why Grovyle fights so hard for a goal that will cause them to disappear. To which Grovyle says one of the best Pokemon quotes since Mewtwo. The important thing is not how long you live, it's what you accomplish with your life. While I live, I want to shine. I want to prove I exist. If I could do something really important, that would definitely carry on into the future. Bro, is someone chopping onions in here or what? And I love how this quote comes back later in the episode, but more on that in a bit. The two then find Celebi being attacked by Spiritomb. Grovyle tries to save her, only to learn it's a trap. Dusknoir was never on Grovyle's side. He actually woke up before Grovyle did when they arrived back in the future, and staged the whole thing with the Sableye, all to trick Grovyle. And the rocks currently zapping Grovyle will drain him of his life force, allowing Dusknoir to possess his body and trick Team Pokepals in the past. But even after Dusknoir explained all this, Grovyle refuses to believe it, believing that Dusknoir has changed and is no longer content in this future. And after wrestling with these new emotions, Dusknoir saves Grovyle, but also greatly angers Primal Dialga. But at least we get to see how loyal the Sableye truly are to Dusknoir, going as far as to attack Primal Dialga to protect their real master. Just then, an aurora appears on the sky, and the wind starts to blow. Team Pokepals has succeeded in the past, and time is moving again. And so Primal Dialga makes their way to a passage of time, maybe planning on going to the past themselves to prolong the dark future. But the new trio of Grovyle, Dusknoir, and Celebi know what to do. Stall Primal Dialga for long enough for this world to disappear. And so begins Dialga's fight to the finish. The trio battle the Primal Beast and win, knocking Dialga down just in time for the rewriting of history to catch up. Dialga disappears, and as Dusknoir begins to fade as well, he asks Grovyle, did his life shine? I told you it would come back. Grovyle and Celebi watch the sunrise together and disappear. So ends the tragic tale of Pokemon's Hero of Time. Except this is a Pokemon game and we need a happy ending. The Pokemon of the future are restored, Dialga mentioning that a higher power has brought them back. That's right, Grovyle is so epic that even Arceus had to pay some respect. And thus is how the tale of Pokemon's Hero of Time truly ends, aside from his reappearance in Super. And there you have it, folks. Every Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky special episode ranked. What did you think about this ranking? How would you do it? Let me know in the comments below. And become a member if you're interested. It's only $2 a month. Have a nice day, you wonderful people.
Don't shake the baby.